What's going on, everybody? Your man Eric Wilson here. I am actually on Twitch, and the reason is because the National Scouting Combine, what I have been talking about all week long, coming to, as I've said before, the Grand Park Event Center in Indianapolis, Indiana, is actually coming up. We are roughly about 6 days away from this, March 7th to the 11th. And like I've said, for all the information, make sure you go check out the nationalscoutingcombine.com for all the information. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I have the privilege of bringing on the CEO and founder of the National Scouting Combine to get his thoughts about their 10th year of doing this, as well as what they have in the works. So, please allow me to introduce the CEO and founder, Mr. Jimmy Kibble. Jimmy, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate the time, as always.
Eric, it's awesome to be with you. I'm honored that you made time for me.
Oh, please listen. I know how busy your schedule is, sir. So, Jimmy, I got to talk to you about this because, you and I have known each other now for about 5, 6 years. And I think one of the biggest pieces is just how the National Scouting Combine has grown. Before I get to that, though, I have to ask you, can you just tell the viewing audience, how did this whole thing go from concept to creation?
It was back in about 2010 when our company was primarily a social network for athletes. In a nutshell, I was sick and tired of hearing athletes say the same thing that I was saying to my friends, my teammates, my father, who was my agent at the time, that, what was the right event to go to? How much should I be paying for it? Is the information legit? Who's running it? And we decided, let's create the National Scouting Combine. To this day, I can't believe that, one, I got the domain. Two, it's now a registered trademark, and we own, the mark on this, which is huge because we wanted to protect the brand after 10 years. But we started out as a regional event for a few years. We were the official combine for the Arena Football League, for the AF2. And from there, we started to grow, ran regional combines around the country, and then finally said, you know what? I was lucky enough to be in the NFL Combine as a player 21 years ago. And I thought, why not, go big or go home? So we thought, let's create an event for all the athletes that miss out in the NFL Combine, because that's the pinnacle of your career at that point. If you made it to the NFL Combine, that's been an incredible experience, an incredible moment. And not many combines were built for, to withstand more than a 3, 4, 5 hour day. Right. We wanted to give athletes an experience that only comes once in a lifetime for very few people. And thus the National Scouting Combine was born, and we started to really focus on the small school kids and the kids that were missing out on the NFL Combine. That was important to us because every year, guys like yourself in your position, Eric, how many guys are a bust, or how many guys should have made it, or how many guys got missed out, and, crazy free agents that you find that all of a sudden are NFL stars or CFL stars.
Right.
If you're willing to put your money where your mouth is, per se, we're going to give you the best opportunity to get in front of all those, those teams and those opportunities. But preparation and nutrition and everything that you're doing to take care of business, you can't hide from that when the day comes.
Yeah, very true. And I always echo the sentiment. The event that you put on continually gets better and better each year. And just to go from, places that you were to now having the opportunity to be at the Grand Park Event Center in, like I said, less than 6 days, how have you been able to maintain being so relevant over the last decade? Because, we look at your event, and for those who may not know or don't know, simply, the National Scouting Combine traditionally runs around the exact same time that the NFL Combine was running. However, this year, that is not the case, opening the door for the National Scouting Combine to really elevate not only the name, but the organization as a whole. How have you stayed so relevant over the last 10 years?
Well, our goal is to become more relevant every year. We never, for the first 5 years, we didn't run that event at the same time as the NFL Combine. We always ran it at the end of January, early February. And, we started at Akron. We went, Akron had an incredible facility, the University of Akron, I should say. We then went to College Park at the University of Maryland. We've been very fortunate because we've been able to work with some great, facilities. When Kevin Plank dumped like $25 million to help College Park increase, that put us in a position where we had to say, okay, what's next? And again, I've got the greatest staff on the planet. Staying relevant for us it's really about everyone that supports the event. You won't go any day or any year without me, really propping up the guys that make this event happen. But we also come from 7 or 8 different states. So as they say in real estate, location, location, location. In 2015, I had to have a real hard, long look at where this company was going, what we were going to do with it, because we were doing well at that point. But it's tough to compete with so many other events out there that we're all vying for the same type of athlete. And I thought, you know what? Once again, go big or go home. Let's go to Indy. Let's run it around the NFL Combine, because let's be honest, if you're a football guy or a football girl or a football-minded individual, the only place you want to be, at in this part of your life or this time of year is in Indianapolis. And, we had a great relationship with the 10th Street Sports Center. They gave us our kickoff in Indianapolis for 2 years. We then upgraded to the Sports Zone. They were fantastic for us for the next 2 years. And in speaking with some other people, and again, it's all about growth. But it's also, everything I do is about the experience. We ended up networking, getting introduced to Grand Park Event Center. I haven't seen it in person. I've only seen it in the pictures. Everyone that has talked to me about it, they can't say it without telling me it's probably the closest experience you can get to Lucas Oil without being there.
Okay.
And that's important. The athletes need to know that we're doing everything we can to put them in the best position for success. And that's where being relevant and staying relevant is. Everything we do is for the athlete. It's all about being relevant for the athlete and the unique opportunity that they're going to get to put their name, their face, their athletic talent in front of anyone that's willing to look at it. I just keep telling these guys, whether it was 100 days, 30 days, 6 days left, take care of business so that when you show up, there are no regrets.
Yeah, that's the biggest piece. And I can speak from a personal experience, having worked with you over the last 4 years and just seeing the growth of evolution of this, going from attending it one day to actually last year being there for the entire event from start to finish. The time and the investment that you and the rest of the National Scouting Combine crew gives to these athletes. You brought in organizations like Trazer. You've got people like Fusion Sports. You've allowed me, the sports arena, to come on and just basically, your whole thing with us is just do what you do. We have everything else. Your team has everything else under lock and key, and they've got it under control. This is just about elevating the athlete. And that speaks volumes to every young man, soon to be, I'm sure, young woman who just is looking for their opportunity and will make the necessary adjustments to get to the National Scouting Combine. So for 10 years, I know you probably heard this and I'll say it to you. Congratulations. But I have to also ask you, Jimmy, now that you've hit that 10-year mark, what's next for the National Scouting Combine?
As horrible as 2020 was for this planet, for everyone involved, I try to take the good with the bad. And we had some really, really amazing opportunities develop from this. In some ways, I try to think of, it was a blessing in disguise. But in terms of what's next, everything we plan isn't so much about, what's next for me or my staff or the company. It's really about what's next for the athletes. This is probably what I'm the most excited about going into the 10th year. is the fact that we've started to develop relationships with pro rugby organizations, USA Olympic organizations. We've got personnel that could be scouting these athletes for professional wrestling. There's no other event out there that's going to provide athletes with more exposure across the spectrum, where an athlete could come thinking, hey, I want to be a DB in the NFL or the CFL, or I may go play in Europe. They might find themselves playing in the rugby sevens. They might find themselves at a tryout in Utah for USA bobsled or USA rugby. We've had so many phenomenal conversations. And the best part is they're coming to Indy. They want to come and see the athletes. And that's the one thing that we tell everyone involved and all the different companies that are helping us become, I don't want to say become more successful, provide more opportunity for the athletes, is that just come to the event, meet the team, see how we operate, and you will see that we run and conduct one of the most efficient events, and we have a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason why some of these partners and sponsors, some of them have been on board for almost 10 years, and some of them just getting involved. And you hit it on the head, Eric. I mean, when they come, we've got a very unique niche of partners, personnel, and it just works. And you've seen it. I mean, it's a great time. It's a fun time. And my staff and I, we could do this blindfolded. And what's next is, without letting too much out of the bag, we could very well be, completely changing the landscape of athletic testing across the board in different sports. Something I wanted to do was make combine testing relevant, going back to that word.
Right.
Half the battle with a lot of these events is you leave with some numbers. What does that mean? And for the last 3 years, my goal was to create an algorithm. We've got a proprietary algorithm that's technically patent pending that can almost predict where an athlete could compete. Now, there's a critical word there, is compete.
Right.
I could never sit there and tell any NFL or CFL or AFL coach, hey, you need to sign this guy. This guy was great because he did X, Y, and Z. What we can tell you is that this athlete graded out at the NFL level or the CFL level or the XFL level. If Mrs. Garcia or Mr. Rock or everyone involved is listening, we want to help you guys find the right talent by finding out who the absolute best talent is. And we can tell you after this event, who are the absolute best athletes, because it's all about control of your body,
right?
Control of your body and mind in performance. I leave it to the scouts to review all the film, okay, and all the game film and all the highlights to figure out, can he play or can she play? But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you, could this person step on the field and compete with other athletes in these levels? My goal is to help these scouts cut out or cut through, the mesh and see if we have, like last year, we had almost 200 athletes at the event. Well, I could tell you right now, based on our grading system, NFL players or NFL scouts could have started their scouting with the first 15, 12 to 15 athletes. CFL could have looked at the next 75. So it puts in perspective the talent that's showing up, the athletic ability. It's up to the players to do the hard work and to market themselves, work with their agents, work with the representatives and their marketing companies to put themselves in the best place for success. But also, if you don't like the grade, the numbers don't lie. Just like the game film doesn't lie, the numbers don't lie. If they prepared, if they're taking care of it, if their God-given ability shows through, someone's going to notice. But if it doesn't, it gives you a base and a landmark to say, this is where I've got to start. This is where I want to be. What do I have to do in between? Part of what we're trying to do and where we're going with this is, how do we connect you with the right people to get better?
And that's the biggest piece. And like you said, you're providing them simply with the opportunity and all the tools. It is up to the individual to not only walk through the door, but have themselves mentally and physically prepared for this one shot, a shot that would not be possible if it wasn't for you and your entire team at the National Scouting Combine. Again, let me just reiterate to everybody watching this, the National Scouting Combine, they are going into their 10th year, the Graham Parks Event Center, March 7th to the 11th. I can just say from a personal perspective, and I will simply end by saying this, having worked with this organization and watching them grow and just see the level of commitment that they give to these players, any young man, and again, I know futuristically is going to be young woman out there who is an athlete and is looking for their opportunity, this is the place that you need to be. Jimmy, I can't thank you enough for your time. I'm going to see you in 6 days, so get ready. As I
Can't wait.
promised you, we're done. You can just focus on the combine now. I just had to get this interview in for everybody, but thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for everything we're doing. And we should say one of the most important and the most exciting parts of it is that it's not just that I'm going to see you in the next 6 days, but Eric Wilson's going to be there live for hours on end. We're going to be bringing you the National Scouting Combine 24/7 for 4 days straight. So for those of you that are going to be missing out on the NFL Combine, we're hoping to showcase some exciting talent. We're not going to name drop here, but we've got some awesome guests that are going to be there from the NFL, from the CFL, and and from overseas.
Yeah. You need to really change it from national to international scouting combine. I really think that you need to move to that. Just my opinion. Jimmy, I will definitely talk to you soon, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Eric.
Your man, Eric Wilson, Sports Arena. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 days. I am extremely excited. This event gets better and better, and you do not want to miss this. Yes, I was going to say that, but Jimmy broke the news. Yes, it will be 4 days of your man and his team. We are going to be on Twitch and all social media bringing you the National Scouting Combine. Eric Wilson, Sports Arena. Talk to you guys really soon. Have a great day.